Hello, cats and kittens. Mama Cat Gamer here. You'll see we have a new background and everything because we're going into the Stormblood expansion today. We start with Beyond the Great Wall as our Stormblood MSQ. We also have a couple of job quests, and I am going to tackle those first. Okay, we got one for Bard, one for Dragoon. Let's see, Black Shroud. We got to go back to Quarry Mill. All right, let's talk to Jahanto. His eyes light up at the sight of you. Ah, my dear Gav, how good of you to pay me a visit, and a timely one at that. Our friend Sanson, with whom you journeyed. I met with him but recently, and it pleases me to say that his labors have finally borne fruit. His proposal for a unit incorporating bards has received formal approval. Even as we speak, he is rounding up members for the unit's inaugural mission. Now, during our conversation, Sanson mentioned that he had a favor to ask of you. In case you haven't yet heard from him, mayhap you could seek him out first. You are like to find him at Quiver's Hold. John will beat us to that. Let's see what he has to say. I wasn't otherwise engaged, so I thought I would come along. Go on and see what it is Sanson requires of you. Gav! It's so good to see you. Our hard work has paid off, my friend. I've received permission to establish my Bard unit. Moreover, we've already been assigned our first mission. I couldn't be more pleased, save for one practical concern. Our new recruits yet lack the experience to embark on an honest-to-God's mission. In seeking to fill our ranks, I immediately thought of you, Gav. You are an exemplary among bards, and I should be greatly heartened for your participation in our maiden outing. I've also taken the liberty of requesting Guidelo's transfer to the unit. With your combined experience and skill, we are bound to leave a splendid first impression. Now then, I will go to receive my orders from Commander Ulwa. May I assume that you will join me? Jahanto says, may I say that I, too, have a vested interest in young Sanson's success. I should be personally grateful were you to lend him your aid, Gav. Alright, let's go back to talk to Rosael Ulwa. If it isn't Gav, by all accounts you were instrumental in the success of Captain Smith's previous expedition. We are glad for your cooperation. Now then, allow me to brief you on the mission. Our order has received an anonymous letter, one that makes certain claims. We would have your unit verify the truth of it. Anonymous letter says, there is a tome that holds a damning secret pertaining to the Autumn War. Should you desire it, send your most capable to 9 Ivies. I will be waiting. Sanson says, the war between Gridania and Alamigo? But that ended 100 years ago. I labor to imagine what secret could exist that should be so damning even now. Might this not be an ill-conceived prank, Commander? The commander says, our leadership believes it likely to be sure, but it is not a risk they are willing to take. Nay, not with the winds of public sentiment blowing as they are. You all know that our order is involved in the Alliance's campaign to liberate Alamigo. Well, there are those among the citizenry that disapprove, a small but determined faction that refuses to forget the wrongs of a century past. They still view Alamigo as the enemy and ardently oppose our reaching out a hand of succor. Not potentially incendiary can be allowed to stoke the people's discontent, and we must move quickly. Your mission is to make contact with the letter's sender and ascertain the nature of the secret. Familiar voices. You call that a mission? A bloody errand, more like. Couldn't be arsed to handle it yourselves, so you foisted on the eager new unit. There's our buddy Guidolo. And if the secret proves inconvenient for Gridania, what then? Will you sweep it under the rug, along with all our hard work? Sanson, Guidolo, mind your tongue. You are addressing a superior officer. The commander says, so you are the famous Guidolo. Worry not, my friend. whatever the secret turns out to be, I give you my personal assurance that you and yours will receive due credit for its discovery. Idolo says, that's good enough for me. It's been forever since me and Gav last performed together. And I just want to enjoy the moment. No complicating factors, you know? Jahantel says, the Autumn War is an emotional subject for Grenadians, the older generation especially, and for our bards it is also notable for the involvement of singing archers. In the course of your mission, I dare say there will be much to reflect upon and many opportunities to grow. I wish the three of you the best of luck. Sensa says, without further ado, let us make haste to Nine Ivies before Gitalo can exercise any more indiscretion. He just goes and shrugs. That's all. What a shrug. There is no telling who or what awaits at Camp Nine Ivies. See to it you spare no preparation. Alright. See what the Nine Ivies can find or holds for us. I hope you are all having a good week. As I record this, we've had some terrible, terrible tornadoes. And not by us. Several states away, deep south and everything. And said some prayers for safety for everybody. I totally missed my spot talking. But anyway. Pray for safety for everybody who's rescuing everybody. And for everybody who lost family. And for everybody who's been injured. Just hope everything goes well for recovery for them. Sanson says, unless I'm mistaken, this is our mysterious sender. Simpering youth. Idolo says, this is our man, you reckon? Let me eat some food while we're at it. I need to get some more. Well met, friends. I'm Nurval, a humble citizen of Gridania, and I see you received my letter. We've come as you bid, the tome, if you would be so kind. Haha, but I never said that I had it, and to be clear, I do not. What? Then why did you summon us here? Patience, my friend, I will explain. You see, like many Gridanians, I have an ancestor who fought in the Autumn War. 'Twas he who first learned of the tome in question after the fighting had ended. In turn, I learned of it from my parents, and since then I've dreamed of poring over its pages. Alas, as it lies deep within Alamegan territory, I was resigned never to have the chance. But then the brave soldiers of the Alliance took Belsar's wall, and the way was made clear. When I heard the tidings, the flames of my boyhood passion were rekindled. Finally, I can fulfill my dream. Or so I told myself, before I thought better of it. I'm no soldier, you see, and the prospect of wandering a war-ravaged land in search of a tome is, frankly, unrealistic. That's why I decided to reach out to your order for cooperation. Based on my parents' account, I'm confident that I can track down the tome, and I will help you to find it. I ask only that you take me with you. So, what say you? I'm but a commoner and know little of the ways of nations, but it seems to me such secrets as the tome conceals could be harmful to diplomatic relations. Is this not so? Sanson says, so if we wish to find the tome, we must agree to your company. Quite a demand to make of your nation. Idolo says, you've got stones, that's for sure. I like it. Sanson goes, oh God, not again. Are you serious? A civilian is essentially holding us to ransom and you praise him for his stones? Idolo says, look at it this way. We didn't know the tome existed, nor have we the faintest where to look for it. Better to have help than to fumble about blind, I reckon. Come on, Gav, back me up here. We could say, seems we have no choice, or he sure has stones. Let's go with that one. You too, Gav? Our appearance is truly that important to a bard? Setting aside this talk of stones for a moment, I'll not deny that we would struggle without Nurval's knowledge. Very well, we agree to your term. And here's ours. You must obey our orders at all times. Nurval says, to the letter, sir. You shan't regret bringing me on. Since this, first we will make for Castrum Oriens, presently held by the Order of the Twin Adder. Thence we shall make our way into the unknown. Good. I mean, we have to go this way anyway. In order to continue this quest, you must first undertake the main scenario quest beyond the Great Wall. Let's go to Kurthus. Friends, through eternity, Sir Alberic is pondering the flow of time. Ah, Gev! Word of Estinian's disappearance from the infirmary has reached mine ears. Whilst part of me is quite capable of sympathizing with his desire to abandon the Holy See, I do wish he had said something ere his departure. But then I suppose it is only to be expected. With Nidhogg slain, the Horde's ranks have fallen into disarray, and they are not the threat they once were. Ishgard has scant need of an Azure Dragoon. Suffice it to say, one would imagine the role of the Dragoon shall similarly be forced to change as we enter this new era of relative peace. However, whilst you may have saved Estinian from the Great Worm, my mind is yet plagued by Estienne's internal strife. May Helone lend her the strength needed to shake free from the dragon blood's fierce grip. Montorguin says, You are looking quite well, Sir Alberic, and Master Gav. 'Tis a pleasure to see you too. Alberic says, Lord Montorguin, Gav and I were just speaking of your daughter. That daughter of mine is in fact why I've sought you out. I was recently handed a letter by a merchant who had passed through the Chocobo forest. If his word is to be believed, he was entrusted with this message by Estienne herself. The letter was a call for help. Master Gav, she bade you search for her. Alberic says, By the Fury, has she been set upon by heretics once more? Montorguin says, Alas, there was no more information in her message. Oh, not a day goes by that I do not pray for her safe return. Gav, I must ask that you take up your lance once more to aid your fellow dragoon. Are you willing? Of course we are. Thank you, Master Gav. Estienne awaits you in the Dravanian Forelands. Please help her with whatever she requests. I'm gonna go up here to Camp Dragonhead. I want to show you something kind of cool. If you remember, this is Lord Horshfawn's grave. If you come to pay your respects. Hello again, old friend. It's Francel. Doesn't get any easier, does it? It's a nice little touch there. I go to Annex Shrine now. Anyway, so go visit his gravesite. Have a nice little moment. Aha, destination. Let's get Cardinal out. just in case. Give! So the letter reached my father. I'm sorry for having you journey so far just to meet me. As you well know, I cannot return to Ishgard in my current condition. That said, the blood's hold on me is not as firm as it once was. This is largely thanks to a new ally of mine. His help has been invaluable in learning to control the dragon within. In fact, I have a mind to introduce you to him. Orn Kai, Gav has arrived. Aw, he's cute. It is an honor to meet you, hero of men. Much have I heard of you from my father. He would often talk of the warrior that boasts the strength of a dragon. Ustian says, Orn Kai has been a great friend ever since he first came across me suffering from the blood's effects. I very much doubt I would be capable of standing here exchanging words with you were it not for his help. I called you here in order to repay my debt to him. Orn Kai, tell Gav what troubles you. Yes, thank you. Long before I came into this world, in the age when man and dragon were at peace, my father had a consort. But the Dragon Song War tore them asunder. Father belonged to Horace Felger's brood, as do I, but his consort was part of Nidhogg's. When Nidhogg demanded vengeance for the wrongs committed against him in Redatusker, Father asked his consort to fly far to the east. She bore no ill will towards man, and while she wanted nothing more than to stay by Father's side, she accepted his request and fled the conflict. However, your valiant actions have since put an end to the Dragon Song War. I'm positive Father's consort will return if we inform her of the war's conclusion. Ustian says, Orn Kai requires your aid to search for his father's consort and bring her back home. However, as she left Dravania some 1,000 summers past, locating her shall be far from an easy task. Under normal circumstances, I would help Orn Kai myself, but while I am somewhat recovered, I am yet far from being in complete control. This is why I summoned you, Gav. Your knowledge of the realm is unparalleled. I beg of you, aid Orn Kai in his search. You have my sincerest thanks, Gav. Ustian says, thank you, Gav. I owe you a debt of gratitude once more. Regrettably, whilst we know she is somewhere to the east, we are entirely ignorant as to the consort's precise whereabouts. I would suggest you first try asking Sir Albrecht about Dravanian legends, specifically those concerning dragons in the east. Pray, report back to me once you have learned something you deem pertinent. All right. Speak with Albrecht. Glad to see you safely return. Were you able to locate Ustian? Yes, we were. I see. She is correct to surmise that formidable dragons are oft made the subject of local legend. I shall discuss this with the congregation priest. I have known him to be quite an authority on Dravanian legends. Although, to think that a dragoon, once gripped by the sole desire to slay dragons, should now wish to help one, 'tis a queer new world indeed that we inhabit, though not one I dislike. But that matters not. I shall seek out the priest at once and raise her query with him. Pray, return anon, and I shall impart my findings unto you. The next Dragoon quest will be available from Albrecht upon reaching level 63. The requirements for undertaking subsequent quests can be reviewed in your journal. Okay, Sir Albrecht is keen to regale you with Dravanian legends. Ah, Gav, just the man I wish to see. We've finished examining the Dravanian legends known to us but a short while ago. However, the priest bade me make it clear to you that these kinds of legends are oft told in increasingly colorful ways as the years go on. Quite common it is for a mere scalekin or puck to, with the keeper's help, transform into a fearsome dragon. I suppose it should come as little surprise. Legends gain fame by capturing the imagination of the masses. It would not do for an unadorned winged lizard to be the protagonist. But let us put the issue of authenticity to one side for a moment. I have summarized the first tale which seemed most relevant on this piece of parchment. Pray, put it to use in your search. Oh, and lastly, tell Ustian that she is ever in my thoughts. Alright, now we gotta talk to her at Mayor's Oath again. This is such a beautiful orchestral piece. And, you know, being a choir person, you know, I love anything that has a lot of, you know, choral excitement to it, you know, like that piece does. Mistian! But that parchment happened to be for mine eyes. Dravanian legend, a piece of parchment that details a legend Sir Albert deemed pertinent to your search. I forgot to talk to Orn Kai first. Yes, I would never forget Sir Albert's exquisite handwriting. This information shall be of great use, I'm sure. Let us see. It seems he thinks we ought to commence our search with the slumbering worm of Gyr Abania. Orn Kai says, this is my first time seeing these patterns that men use. Fascinating indeed that you can share information in such a manner. Dravanian history is chronicled not with letters, but through song. These verses have taught me much about Phonem, my father's consort. Phonem, you say? Well, could be Phonem. Phonem? Well, knowing her name can only aid the search, Gav. Pray, accompany Orn Kai to the ruins of the Fist of Rauger temple in the fringes. Sir Albert states that this is where the origins of the slumbering worm lie. Orn Kai says, the journey ahead is long, and it will benefit us not to delay our departure any longer. Whistle for me when you have reached our destination, and I shall come to your side. Steen says, mayhap I too could learn from Orn Kai's devotion to his father. I have given mine own more cause to worry than I would like to admit. Alright, we haven't reached that spot yet. Alright. Alright, let's go and continue our way into the Stormblood expansion. Let's see what our scions have to say. Let's talk to Alize. Papalimo had to know it would only be temporary. If grandfather couldn't contain Bahamut with the power of 1,000 prayers, then what chance did his disciples stand, armed only with a broken staff? Lise says, I won't let you down, Papalimo, I promise. Krau says, was it always his plan to sacrifice his life to complete the ritual? To bring forth the arbiter of his vengeance, but not remain to see the aftermath? Stola says, though it may not be apparent to the naked eye, the ether here is in turmoil. Not since the calamity has this land been subjected to forces of the magnitude unleashed by Shinryu and Omega. What does the Serpent Officer say? The Alliance holds the wall, sir. You may cross at your leisure. Alfino says, all are present and accounted for. When you are ready, my friend, pray inform the officer that we wish to proceed into Gyr Abania. Alright, let's go. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn. We were told to expect you. Shall I summon someone to escort you to the wall? Yep.
I remember crossing the border, standing in Gyr Abania once more. Me and my fellow scions, the warrior of light among us. Behind us, Baelsar's wall cutting the land in two. Freedom on one side, tyranny on the other. Tyranny and the promise of a new beginning. but one that could only be bought with flames and blood.
Here we go. We have arrived in Castrum Oriens, and the first thing I'm going to do is go attune to the Aetheryte and talk to the Chocobo Keep. Well met, traveler. Might I interest you in a Chocobo porter? But do not tell me this is your first visit to this stop. I shall update my register with your name so that you may access this location in the future. Go check in with Rauban. Alize says, "So, this is the East End. Not too different from the rest of the Shroud, is it? Though, truth be told, I'm not sure why I thought it would be." Alfino says, "To see the colors of so many nations, Limsa Luminza, Gridania, Ul'dah, and now Ishgard, well nigh brings a tear to my eye. We have much to be proud of, Gav." He says, "The general's in high spirits, don't you think? I know the feeling." Shtola says, "The Alliance has done well to repurpose these Imperial facilities for their own use so quickly." Kryle says, "Quite an atmosphere here, isn't there? Everyone seems to be on pins and needles, though one can hardly blame them, given recent events." Let's talk to Rauban. "Greetings, Scions. On behalf of the Eorzean Alliance, I welcome you to Castrum Oriens." Alfino says, "Thank you, General. We are relieved to hear that your forces secured the wall without incident. Have the Imperials made any attempts to retake the Castrum since then?" Rauban says, "None. Save for a few skirmishes between our scouts and their patrols, we've had barely any contact with them, but we all know it's only a matter of time before things escalate." As if attacking Baelsar's wall weren't enough, Ilberd summoned a primal right on their doorstep, and Garlemald is not like to let such shows of defiance go unanswered. Alfino says, "It was a declaration of war, even if it was not Ilberd's to make, and now we are bound by it, for weal or for woe. The Scions stand ready to serve, General. What would you ask of us?" "As stated in my message, the Alliance will not proceed without the support and cooperation of the Alamegan people. We would have you serve as our emissaries and make contact with the Resistance." He says, "Consider it done, General. We won't let you down, I swear." And I'll leave you to it. Godspeed. It says, "Ha! Of all the Castra in all the world, you walk into mine." It's a reference to Casablanca. "Master Garland, what brings you here?" Sid says, a certain missing Allagan weapon and Draconic Primal. Omega and Shinryu, I think the Shinobi called it. Anyway, we've been studying their trail of destruction, hoping it might lead us somewhere, which it has singularly failed to do." Rauban says, "Then 'tis like Omega fell to Earth in occupied territory, meaning it may already be in Imperial hands." It says, "Even so, it bears repeating that we engaged the stasis systems. Assuming the command was received and executed successfully, the weapon will be of no use to them. Assuming. We should hurry up and find it regardless." Rauban says, "All the more reason to reach out to the Resistance. If we want to press on into Gyr Abania, we'll need their blessing." He says, "Everyone's counting on us. Let's not waste any more time talking." Lise, all action, no talk. I don't want Naked Man here. I needed to change that necklace. Because its appearance was driving me crazy. Doesn't look right with this outfit. Okay. The little things we do for glamour. See, that looks much better. Elise says, if anyone can determine the fate of Shinryu and Omega, it's Master Garland. For now, let us remain focused on our current mission. Elfino says, the bridge over the Volodina River has always held great strategic importance, hence the Garleans' decision to transform it into a fortified installation. Needless to say, we will not be crossing there. Kryl, have anything new for us? I do hope you're not thinking about running off to help Master Garland. It is not your duty to solve all of the world's problems, you know. Well, kinda, yeah, it is. Shtola says, were Omega not a threat to us all, its effectiveness in subduing draconic foes would seem almost admirable. But such weapons are doomed to be misused. Let us pray we never have need of its services again. Raban, keep to the north and cross upstream. The Black Bridge belongs to the Garleans. For now. Lisa's eager to leave Castrum Oriens. As you've probably heard, there are plenty of factions in the Resistance, so I'm taking us to see the one with the most influence. Their headquarters are located in a place called Rauger's Reach, an old temple to the east of here, across the Volodina River. I learned a route that should allow us to avoid Imperial patrols. Stick with me and we'll be there before you know it. Raban, have anything new for us? Nope. Okay. Let's talk to Gyr and Sanson. Gyr, soldiers from all nations, all in one place. A veritable goldmine of songs and stories if I've ever seen one. Sanson says, and here we are at the easternmost reaches of the Twelveswood. The journey has scarcely begun, but already I'm keenly grateful for your company, Gav. Norval says, the armies of the four nations united under one banner and one purpose. A sight to stir the spirit. Senses as well. Where to now? Pray, do not be hasty, Master Sanson. Before we venture into the wilds of Gyr Abania, we would do well to acquaint ourselves with the lay of the land. As a serpent captain, it should be a simple matter for you to secure permission for us to remain here, just long enough to get our bearings. I suppose it would only be prudent. Very well, I will request permission of command. Gyr says, and I'll get right to bonding with the locals. Always wanted to compare songs from the four nations. And the liquor besides. Norval says, Master Gyr is quite a character, isn't he? Sanson says, aye, that he is, pay him no mind. And now then, I will make my own inquiries. In the meantime, you are to lay low and refrain from bothering the garrison. Understood? Gav, Gyr and I shall attend to business here. Pray, take your ease until we are ready to depart. Norval says, though I am but a humble civilian, I shall endeavor to make myself useful. I wonder where Gyr went. It's around here somewhere. I just gotta remember where. I don't see Gyr, so, maybe he's not around here yet. Alright. Sanson says, he's at wit's end with Norval. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Norval might be an even bigger pain than Gyr. Despite my express instructions to keep out of the garrison's way, what does he do but go and bother every single soldier about? And now everyone here looks at us askance. Ugh. I brought a tome to record mission details, but instead I'm filling it with the names of those to whom I must apologize. Norval says, I'm sorry if I've caused trouble, but it's simply more efficient that I make the inquiries myself. What a man says amounts to only half the story. How he says it gives you the rest. Besides, he's not wrong, right? Body language is a big deal. Besides, I feel compelled to make up for Master Gidalo. All he seemed to be doing was drinking and singing. Well, appearances can be deceiving with him. He has his own way of acquiring information. Speaking of which, I'm curious as to what he has learned. Kev, might I ask you to look around the castrum for him? I will keep a close eye on Nurval in the meantime. Gidalo will be somewhere in the castrum, making his inquiries with a lyre in one hand and a cup in the other. Please find him and ask what he's managed to learn. Nurval says, quite a character indeed. I wanted to say he was back here. Okay. Sensen wants to know what I know, does he? Well, might be as I've learned a thing or two, but I ain't ready to share 'em yet. Still, need to clear up some details, see, and I'm not one for unfinished tales. It ain't bardly, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Seeing as you're here, though, there is something I could use a hand with. Of late, masked bandits have been terrorizing the area. Not even Alliance soldiers are safe, it seems. The brazen bastards set on a patrol just the other day. And now a Twin Adder scouts, late to return, and chances are the bandits are at it again. I want you to go and check things out. I'd go myself, but I need to keep an eye on our friend Nurval. He's been acting queer since we got here. I didn't know that Cav was going to do that, or I would have kind of zoomed in a little bit better. There will be more to tell later, but for now you'd best be on your way. The soldier was bound for Schism in the ruins to the northeast of here. All right. So we gotta look for the Twin Adder Scout. And then, it's kind of in the same direction, eh? The bad thing is we're back to not being able to fly again. Detects a current 243 yalms to the southeast. Let's talk to our scions here. Krause says, at the risk of upsetting the cartographic fraternity, I can't help observing that East End depends entirely on one's perspective. I mean, people don't even think of it as Gridania anymore, do they? Alize says, it's so quiet, almost as though the Imperials haven't been here for some time. Ishtola says, on your guard. The Imperials know these lands better than we. Elfino says, they call it East End because it marks the end of the Black Shroud. Note the sparser vegetation. Still with me? Good. From here, we'll head northeast towards the river. The water's not too deep, so we won't have to swim. "91 yalms to the south." Okay. You know what? My little Fenrir goes faster than the other mounts, so I'll hop onto that one. Discover a new location. Here's our ether current. $688 yalms to the east. Yeah, that's in an area we can't get to yet, unfortunately. Kind of convenient not having to fight the enemies because you're like way over leveled, right? Aiding the Serpent Scout. Thank you. They fell upon me with nary a warning. They knew I was coming. We alter our patrol routes on a regular basis, but they knew. What's more, it was as though they were barring my way. But now is not the time for speculation. I must take word of this back to my superiors. My thanks again, friend. Okay, speak with Gyr again. Gyr refuses to say a word until you return. I tell myself he has his reasons. Gods, it's irritating. Norval says, I ask you, how's a man supposed to go about his business when he is constantly watched? And I merely wish to be helpful. Alright, Gyr. There you are, Gaff. So, what happened? Was it the bandits after all? Sanson says, masked bandits in the area and you had an encounter with them? Thank the matron you did not come to harm. Gyr, why did you not see fit to share this with us? Well, I knew it was nothing Gav couldn't handle alone. Besides, I had some business of my own, someone to keep an eye on. Norval says, I cannot imagine who that might be. Master Gyr, I owe you an apology. I had assumed in error that you were not doing your work. Unorthodox though your methods may be, there is no doubting their efficacy. Ain't no trick to what I do. Everyone's got a song, what's close to their hearts, and with a bit of camaraderie in the cups, they'll tell you what it is. Then I strum them their song over a heart-to-heart is all. Thanks to Gyr, we were able to learn of the recent incidents, so I ask you, will you not have a little faith in us? Norval says, I'm not certain I understand. Sanson says, look, Norval, we've made a stop here at your request that we might gather information for our search, but not once did you tell us what it is we should look for. By now, we have more than a solid grasp of the region beyond. What should we do next? Oh my, did I neglect to tell you? My profoundest apologies. The tome we seek, it's said to rest in a place connected to Gilbard, the general who led the Alamegan forces during the Autumn War. Gyr says, now that you mention it, the masked bandits appeared on the way to the schism, and Gilbard was a known devotee of the Fist of Ralgr. Just taking a wild stab here, but might be as they're also after the tome. Norval says, an unsettling notion. Should that be the case, we haven't any time to waste. I will go and make some inquiries immediately. Sanson, wait! I didn't give you Gyr says, leave him. There's something you two need to know. I got this from a soldier, but Norval's been sneaking outside the castrum while our backs were turned. It's like, bastard's been acting right fishy since we got here, and he tensed up good when the subject of the masked bandits came up. Sanson says, whatever his true motives may be, we must bring them to light. Rather than reel him in, let us give him some line to act. There is no telling what Norval will do next. While we keep watch, please see that you are ready to deal with anything. Whatever shenanigans Norval's up to, we're gonna find out. Sanson is poised to pounce upon Norval. We've continued our surveillance of Norval's activities. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt that he has an ulterior motive. In order to find the tome, it's past time we took our search to the field, but always he finds an excuse to stall. Whenever I suggest investigating this ruin or that, he will inevitably claim we haven't enough information. It's plain he doesn't want us out there. Gyr says, nay, bastard wants all that outside goodness for himself. But try as we might, we haven't been able to find out where he sneaks off to. Warier than a bird, that one. Meanwhile, the masked bandits continue ambushing Alliance patrols, and they always know exactly where and when to strike. It's as though they have insider knowledge of patrol routes. The only explanation being there's a mole in the garrison leaking them intelligence. Sanson says, and who could that mole be save for Norval? Every move of his marks him as the prime suspect. We know little and less of Norval's plot, but it can only lead to ill. We must needs bring it to light and swiftly, before he can do any more harm. To that end, Gyr and I have been keeping Norval close, allowing him no chance to act. By now he will be positively itching to rendezvous with his accomplices. And this is where you come in, Gav. We need you to feed Norval some false information. That I'm in an Alliance meeting and Gyr, drunken stupor. Our man will not pass up the chance to sneak out, and he is like to do so with greater haste than usual. This will afford us an opening to shadow him to his destination. Gyr says, drunken stupor? Really? Sanson says, not so flattering, I know, but you cannot deny that it's believable. Now then, Gav, pray, go to Norval and plant our misinformation. Once you have done so, come to meet us outside the castrum. Oh, here's Norval. Wasn't them unavailable? And here I was ready to strike out on the trail of a promising lead. Well, disappointing though it is, the search will have to wait. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to. Alright, join Sanson outside Castrum Torians. It worked, my friend. Norval rushed out of the castrum not a moment ago. He was headed east towards a ruin called Gyr Abania. Gyr Abania. Gyr trails him even as we speak. Come, let us join the chase. Ah. Hey, we found an ether current. Yeah. $538 yalms to the south. Oh, looks like we get an instance duty here. Sanson says, what is he up to? Alright, if you're above the maximum allowed level, it would be synced as follows to 67. It's a good old-fashioned tryst. Let's have us a peek, shall we? I'm not sure if I want to look in on a tryst. You never know what you might see. Masked man, we have it, my lord. Turn it up among his retainer's possessions. At long last, Gilbard's journal, and not a moment too soon. I just about outstayed my welcome at the garrison. When that adventurer caught us falling upon the patrol, I'd feared that the game was up. But thankfully the other two were blind fools. All this time watching me and they didn't see a thing. Masked man says, we've only skimmed the tome, but it seems you were right about what happened to Lord Venchalo. Was there ever any doubt? Once we return to Gridania and make this knowledge public, none shall harbor so much as a shred of sympathy for Alamigo. That shall pave the way for us to propagate Lord Venchalo's will and advance our agenda. At last, we've uncovered Norval's purpose, and the tome is right before our eyes, no less. Commander Ildwas spoke of a faction that vehemently opposes our aiding Alamigo. I dare say we have found them, but how did Norval come to lead such a crew? And what is this talk of Venchalo? Elo says, what, the Gradanian generals sung about in nigh 100 songs who led our forces against Gilbard in the Autumn War? Only to die of an illness before the fighting was over. Aye, the very same. Having lost his leadership, we would have lost the war entirely had the other nations not come to our aid. Don't know about the rest of you, but it seems to me our damning little secret pertains to Ventulo. And Nurval seeks to use it to stoke the fires of anti-Alamegan sentiment to some sinister end. This cannot be borne. We cannot let them have the journal. Are you with me? Let's go get him. How did you? No matter, you will not stand in my way. Really need to take these guys out. Out of line of sight. Oh, you're evil. I want to take the bulliers out quickly because they inflicted bleed on everybody. Oh, you little stinker. Okay, we gotta stay out of those circles. They're pretty easy to move in and out of, so. And since you're ranged, it just makes it that much easier. So, Earth Crusher is that one. And then we move in again. We move just out of the range. It's easier to get in and out of. Alright, we beat him. Perhaps you're not such blind fools after all. Very well, take your journal. Aye, take it, read it. Know the vile crime the Alamegans committed against Lord Venchelon, against my own blood, and see the folly of aiding such honorless people. What do you mean, your own blood? Did I mishear? Did he just say that Venchelon was his ancestor? Aye, that's what it sounded like. Venchelon, the folk hero loved by all, celebrated in countless songs, and that pain in the rear's his descendant. Never would have guessed. Any road, we've got bigger concerns. Let's see what that musty old tome's hiding. Could we do it in a safer place? No, we're going to stand here and read it. We're going to read all 500 pages while we sit outside and, in hostile territory, right? To Venchelon, I extended an invitation to negotiate peace. The meeting must be in secret, I explained, for not all of my officers share my view. My opponent accepted and arrived at the appointed hour. Peace? Everybody knows there weren't no peace on offer. The peace? No. Oh my god, I can't talk here. Peace? Everybody knows there weren't no peace on offer. The hell is this about? Wait, it continues. Without suspicion, he took his seat, and without suspicion, he drank the poisoned wine. The effect was swift and sure, and within moments, the man lay dead at my feet. Wait, Venchelon was murdered? By poison? To this day, Lord Venchelon remains an object of worship among many Gradians. Were they to learn of this, the present grumblings against Alamegan liberation are liable to grow into large-scale protests. Gyr says, there's no denying that some Alamegans did some terrible things in the past, but what Norval's trying to do ain't no better. Might be as he's after the truth, but nothing good will come of this, and certainly not any decent songs. We gotta worry about the songs first, The truth. Tell me, Gyr, when we surrender this journal to our superiors, what do you think they would do with the knowledge? Gyr says, the seed seers aside, I reckon the brass hats at the adder's nest would want to cover it up, bury it nice and deep, and pretend it never existed. Tensa says, aye. Nor would I put it past them to exploit the knowledge to gain leverage in dealings with Alamigo. But whatever they may do is none of our concern, is it? Duty compels us to hand the journal over to headquarters. Gyr says, you're the leader of our merry band, Sanson, and duty compels me to obey your orders, shite though they often are. You decide whether we hand over the journal or not. Gyr would entrust this decision to me, but what of you, Gav? You'd say you should decide, or we should all decide. Well, let's give Sanson a little bit of a break. We should all decide. No, forgive me this unseemly display. Gyr has the right of it. As the leader, mine is the burden of decision. Gyr says, at any rate, this ain't the place for moral dilemmas. Let's get ourselves back to the castrum before Norval and his mates decide they want to have another go. I like Gyr's outfit a lot. You know, it's a nice touch to kind of fly us back here instead of making us run all the way back or use Gil for a teleport. Idolo has disappeared somewhere in the cast room, giving me room to ponder matters I shouldn't doubt. I've since read through Gilbard's journal, and I'm afraid there is no two ways about it. He summoned Ventionlo under the pretense of peace and then slew him with poison. However, one mystery remains. It appears one of Ventionlo's sons was present at the fateful meeting. Landrinel was his name, and he narrowly escaped with his life, but instead of crying bloody murder, he announced that his sire had died of illness. Here is a man who witnessed his own flesh and blood slain, and in the most underhanded manner, yet he concealed the truth. Why did he do this? I do not understand. But it avails us not to agonize over the motives of those who lived in the past. Nay, our quandary concerns the future. For the future of both nations, the truth is best kept buried. No good can come of digging it up. 'Tis crystal clear what must be done. And yet, though my mind sees the logic, my heart rebels against the idea. Forgive me, Gav, it seems I require more time to think on it. Sanson is on the verge of making a decision on the tome. The instant we hand Gilbard's journal to headquarters, the truth of Ventionlo's death is all but guaranteed to be struck from history. I've thought long and hard on a course of action, what we should do with the tome, and I believe I'm drawing closer to the answer. Before I make my decision, however, I would ask your honest opinion. Do you think the sordid truth of the Autumn War should be made public knowledge? Even should it jeopardize our relations with Alamigo? Ascertain his credibility is... yeah, that's definitely what we should do, actually. Verily, a sound choice demands a sound grasp of the situation. As ever, you are an island of calm reason amidst a sea of chaos. Thank you, Gav. As the leader of our unit, I am now ready to make my decision. Let us find Guidolo. He'll wish to hear it too. It's one person's view of what happened there. And, you know, it's good to have more than one view, especially trying to figure out why Ventionlo's son kept things secret. When the both of you are ready, I will announce my decision. So you've made up your mind, then? About what to do with the truth? I have. I shall go to the Adder's Nest and entrust the journal to our superior's care. Above all, we cannot allow it to be used as an instrument of hatred. Having said that, neither will I stand for the truth to be erased. I will oppose any attempt to do so with all my being. I'm not sure I understand. What do you want to do exactly? I'll hand over the journal on the condition that the truth be revealed one day when the people are ready to accept it. Call me indecisive, but I cannot bear to see the tome misused, nor the truth willfully buried. Well, well, look at you, Sanson the Stiff, standing his ground. Goes without saying, but I'm with you, Chief. Ain't no one gonna exploit or erase history on my watch. Thank you, my friends, for trusting in me. Don't let it get to your head, though, eh? Had your decision not been to my liking, I would have knocked you flat on your arse and resigned from your Swiven unit. So much for you decide. Never change, Guidolo. Servant officer. Captain Sanson, right? Some fellow asked me to pass this letter to you. This is from Norval. The journal is yours to do with as you wish, but ere you take it away, I would speak with Gav and Gav alone one last time. I await you in Dimwold by the Percipient one. Oh, this reeks. Tell me it don't. But if this is a trap, why would Norval ask for the strongest of all of us? He may truly have something important to say. Conversely, it would also offer us a chance to convey our intent. I'm loath to expose you to danger, my friend, but will you go to this meeting? Daedalus says, I don't like the idea of you going alone, but that'd defeat the purpose of the meeting. At the first sign of danger, though, get out of there fast, alright? Run with me, friends, towards the danger. How could we possibly have missed that it was a trap? Ah, you're back. But where's Sanson? Another letter arrived right after you left, asking for him to come as well. Are you really alone then? Swive me, you were just a diversion. Sanson was the real target. I thought it'd be alright seeing as you'd be there, but I should have gone as well. God, strike me down for a fool. If you don't see Sanson, they must have nabbed him on the way to Dimwald. Come on, we have to find him. Alright, let's go find him. There he is. Sanson's book was lying here. They left a message in blood, the goddamn mummers. We have your friend. We will send our price to the Adder's Nest. That horse son can take his ransom and shove it up his arse. We're gonna storm their hideout, tear them all new ones, and free Sanson. We don't know where they are. Damn it, Gav, how can you always be so calm? It's downright contagious. And you're right, of course. We don't even know where the bastards have taken Sanson. We need help if we're gonna save him. Come on, let's hurry back to Gridania, to the Adder's Nest. I've just reported the situation. They're going to call a meeting to talk strategy. As for Gilbard's journal, I'm still holding on to it. Told him it's for the chief to hand over. They were none too pleased, fancy that. You see, unlike our friend Sanson, I don't have much faith in the Order. Don't trust him to act in our best interest. The journal's our bargaining chip, not only with them, but Norval besides. Would be good to bring old Jahantel into it as well. He'd want to know, and might even have some sage advice to share. But for now, we sit tight, wait, see what the Order and Norval will do, and then we plan some doings of our own. Till then, rest up and save your strength, Gav. We're gonna need it. Okay, you couldn't tell me that back at Castromorians. I had to pay money to get there. Oh, Refulgenero. Yes, I definitely want to do this. Refulgenero is very nice. Okay, it delivers an attack with a potency of 260. Can only be executed when under the effect of Hawk. Hawk's Eye. So upgrade straight shot to Refulgenero. Idolo is keenly waiting to see how the Order of the Twin Adder will move. Good timing, Gav. Norval's demands have just arrived at the Adder's Nest. In exchange for Sanson's freedom, we're to release the contents of Gilbard's journal to the public. Bastard won't be satisfied until all Gridanians hate all Alamegans' guts. The brass hats are deliberating a course of action as we speak. Not much we can do now but wait. Serpent Commander Ulua, command has made its decision. You will not wish to hear this, but the Order rejects Norval's demands. He and his band are to be summarily eliminated. What? Oh, hold on just a second. You won't even try to negotiate Sanson's release? As a nation, we cannot bow to acts of intimidation. I'm afraid negotiation was never an option. And here I must repeat the order for you to relinquish the journal at once. So what you're saying is you're abandoning Sanson. You're going to let him die. Here's the great Venchalo, hero to all Gridanians, but you won't even lend an ear to his descendant. No, no. Instead, you choose the easy way out. Just kill everyone, even your own man. Wash away the bloody past with more blood. Just to be clear, I ain't siding with Norval. There's no excusing his method. There's no excusing yours either. It's bullshit. That's what it is. Aye, it's bullshit. I've lost faith in the order. Aye, it's bullshit. Now, pray do not be so quick to despair, for I am simply relaying the outcome of Command's deliberation, a deliberation in which the Elder Seedseer had no part. As you say, Gyr, the orders are bullshit. Not the words I would have chosen, but you speak the truth nonetheless, and I, for one, have no intention of abiding by them. The decision was largely influenced by a small handful of our leadership, not the boldest handful, if I may add. 'Tis plain from the fact that they did not think to bring the matter before the Elder Seedseer. Captain Smith is a dear comrade. Like you, I would spare no aid in any effort to rescue him, and I am pleased to say that we are not alone in this sentiment. As a matter of fact, I've already reached out to my Lancer and Archer acquaintances, and they stand ready to aid our cause. Oh, now we're talking. There's still hope for the Order if it has good blokes like you, Vorsi. I would thank you not to call me that. Now, the Order will move as soon as they ascertain the enemy's location, so time is of the essence. Gyr, pray take word of these developments to Jahantel. Meanwhile, Gav, I need you to bear word to the two guildmasters, Lucian and Ewain. Tell them that the need is nigh, and pray return here swiftly. Alright, we gotta speak with Lucian at the Archers Guild and Ewain at the Lancers Guild. I might actually finish the entire Archer or Bard series for Stormblood just doing this. I didn't realize. The time is nigh then. Very well. We shall make ready to depart at once. When the call came, full many here offered their bows. There is not a soul here who knows not of you and Jahantel and Gyr. Together, let us rescue Sanson. Let's see what Leah says. Just once I'd like to pass a day without being lectured on my form. But like it or not, I'm stuck with that bloody wildwood. You can pick your friends, but not your family, you know? Silver, does he have anything new? Pray you do not take excessive pride in your achievements. Accomplished though you may be, your archery is far from perfect. Alas, Leah's training demands my undivided attention. You will have to wait your turn, Gav. Ewain says, aye. Forsale has briefed me on the situation. Sanson once trained in these very halls, and I should like to hear his excuse for being captured so easily. At any rate, you may count on our lances. That Sanson was one of our own is reason enough. This request comes from both you and my longtime friend Versailles himself. Okay. Speak with Versailles. There you are, not a moment too soon. Things have begun to move. Our scouts reported that Norval and his band have since returned to the Twelveswood. They've made their lair in the North Shroud near the shards of Dalamud. Even as we speak, the Order mobilizes a unit for an assault. We must be there ahead of them. Set out at once and make first for Alder Springs. I shall instruct the others to join you there. I will remain here to stall our forces as long as I can. Godspeed. No gold sellers. I report gold sellers. I don't want them ruining my game. Gold sellers, it's kind of insidious. Not only do they put people's real life funds at risk of, identity theft, having your bank account stolen by scammers, but it also inflates the economy in game, and that just drives the price up for everybody else. So it's not an innocuous kind of thing, and having a high inflation in game really Really has an impact on newer players who don't have access to high amounts of funds yet, right? So, you know, and I get the appeal of gold sellers, right? But, you know, it's against the TOS. Don't risk your account. It ruined Soder's economy because the devs didn't do anything about the gold sellers. They just let them go. Whew, we're ahead of the Twin Adder crew. Let's keep it that way and get right to work. Our guild friends will take down the sentries and secure the area. We're free to get close to Norval and give him the thrashing he deserves. All right, let's just proceed and see what happens. Well, well, says Norval. I was not expecting you two. Here to deliver the Gradanian's answer, are we? Gyr says, you wish, you craven horse son. Whatever your demands are, it ain't got nothing to do with us. So you're acting alone. I thought you had some wits. Or do you care that little for your friend? Kill Sanson before you get our answer and all deals are off. Everything you've worked for are up in smoke. Or do you care that little for your goal? I see Sanson back there. Back over here. Mayhap you have some wits after all. But clever though your ploy may be, have you the strength to back it up? Gyr says, oh, don't you worry on that score. We're gonna knock you around so hard, all the scales will fall from your eyes. And if that ain't enough to make you see clearly, I'll even slap in a song. Something lively to wake you up from your misguided beliefs. Let's get rid of the staff first. And then the bow. I just kiting the guy around. I don't know. Uh-oh. I gotta get that binding off of Why? Why do you not understand? Why do you not see the Alamegans for the filth they are? Let each spear be thrust for everlasting peace. Let each arrow be loosed for the forest and the trees. And the greatest rule of all, I can remember. I couldn't read it all. That song, how do you know it? Let's see what else it said. Let each spear be thrust for everlasting peace. Let each arrow be loosed for the forest and the trees. And the greatest rule of all, for all men to embrace. Let each life be lived for smiles on every face. That song, how do you know it? I learned it just recently with a spot of help from Jahantel here. He showed me Vencelo's grave, which I understand your family's been tending for generations. The song was engraved on the headstone. It's a fine piece, and it ain't hard to see why your ancestor loved it. Taking up arms that we might have peace, so the words go. Words that came from Vencelo himself, as a matter of fact. The Autumn gave birth to a good many anthems, and a good many of them borrowed his words. Take a look, and you'll notice a recurring theme, peace and harmony. How dare you preach to me of my ancestor? For generations our family has sought justice for Lord Vencelo. You couldn't possibly comprehend our pain. Jahantel says, not us, perhaps. But I dare say your great-grandsire, Lord Landrinel, could comprehend it better than any man. He witnessed his own sire murdered before his eyes. He knew the painful truth, yet he chose to keep it a secret. Why was this, do you suppose? It was because he knew that, above all else, his sire desired peace. Had it been made known that their hero was struck down by treachery, ordinary Gridanians would not have been satisfied with protecting their homes. Nay, they would have demanded justice. They would have demanded blood. The war would have raged on, leaving yet more death and destruction in its wake, and the peace that Lord Vencelo dreamed of would have gone up in smoke. Knowing this, Lord Landrinel... Spare me your lies. Lord Vencelo desired Alamigo's destruction. You cannot tell me otherwise. Tell me, young man, did it not strike you as odd that I knew of Lord Vencelo's grave? That which your family has kept secret all these years? The explanation is simple. I had the honor of knowing Lord Landrinel. Like you, he admired Lord Vencelo and everything he stood for. And what he stood for, first of all, was peace and harmony. If you would honor both their memories, you would do well to honor those ideals. No, this cannot be. My ancestors despised Alamegans. Yes, they all did. If not, everything I've labored for, all the blood and tears have been for naught. Says, I ask not that you forgive, but know that neither will we forget. When the time is right, I will see to it that all know of Lord Vencelo's great sacrifice. This I swear in Nafika's name. I only ask that you believe, as your ancestors fervently did, in a brighter future, one of our own shaping, undarkened by shadows of the past. That is a cool-looking spear he had. All right, Gyr said, I sent the others back. We can deal with the rest ourselves. Worry not, Gav, I'm quite well. Thanks to you and Gyr, it ended with only a few cuts and bruises. But ere I may rest, I must see to one last task, making good on my promise to Nurval. Come, let us return to the Adder's Nest. My apologies for keeping you waiting, Commander. I have Gilbard's journal with me, and I will surrender it on one condition. Upon the veracity of the tome's contents, or once the veracity of the tome's contents is ascertained, the Order must make the truth public knowledge when the time is right. On this we are of a mind, Captain Smith. Not only will I relay your terms to our leaders, I will speak strongly in favor of them. But know that mine is but one voice, and more shall be needed if we are to strengthen our cause. As such, you must rise through the ranks swiftly to stand with me. Stand with you? I fear it will take me a while to attain that honor. To be fooled and taken captive so easily, I'm still green as summer grass. Commander says, 'Tis true that the success of this mission is owed much to Gav, and you would do well to give him your profuse thanks. However, I suggest that you also give yourself more credit. You may have much to learn, but you will learn them in good time. This time, you were faced with numerous trials, yet did you not accomplish your mission in spite of them? Idolo says, listen to Vorsi. We came back with the tome. No one can say we didn't do our jobs. Look at you. Bit of praise and you're a stunned marmot? That won't do it all. If you're going to shape the future of our nation, you're going to have to shape up. You're right, Gyr. From leading our unit to fulfilling my promise to Norval, much rests upon my shoulders. Come what may, I will ever stand tall and forge on. Gav, I must needs go to file my report, but ere I leave, allow me to offer you my heartfelt thanks, not only for your invaluable aid, but for being an example to me. By following your lead, I shall strive to become the best leader I can be, that my unit's song might one day serve to rouse all Gridania. Aw. So nice. And off he goes. Good that he's hale and hearty at any rate. I'll stick with Sanson for a while. Make sure you don't tear open any stitches. In the meantime, would you go and let Jahantel know we've returned? I'll be along myself soon enough. But speaking of the old man, to think that he knew Vencelo's son? You don't get that to that age and not rub shoulders with a legend or two, eh? My regards to Jahantel, and I would thank you not to take up the habit of calling me Vorsi. Okay, Vorsi. Sweet dreams are made of peace. Oh, gosh. Let's play on the song, Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. I can hear the song in my head, but I can't think of who sings it at the moment. Somebody can tell me in the comments. Who sings Sweet Dreams Are Made of These? I see. My thanks for bearing word. Though Sanson and Gyr may not have endeared themselves to the Twin Adder leadership, they have found a stout ally in Commander Ulua. I must say, it truly stirs the spirit to see the younger generation blaze a new path. And I pray that Norval, too, will find his own path to walk, one that is paved not with hatred, but with hope. That leads to peace both in the world and in his heart. 'Tis what his ancestors would have wished. In him I see them, and it calls to mind my days spent learning bow and song under his great-grandsire, kindly old man who tirelessly tended his father's grave, never forgetting the ideals it stood for. Somewhere along Lord Vencelo's line, those ideals had faded away, but thanks to you and yours, they may yet be restored, and made bolder still by a true remembrance of the past. The world should be a better place for it. Ooh, Storyteller's Attire Coffer. The fervent desire to aid your comrades awakens a new melody in you. This concludes the Bard quest for Stormblood. In order to undertake the next series of quests, you must first meet the following requirements. Shadowbringers must be registered to your service account. You must have completed the main scenario quest, Shadowbringers. You must have completed the role quest, Courage Born of Fear, and once you have done so, the next Bard quest will be available from Jahantel. Alright. That's nice, because, let's see. Straight Shot has a potency of 200. Refulgent Arrow has a potency of 260s, because that's quite a bit more. Let's see. Now, let's go back. Go back to Castor Morians here. Speaking of, I should make this a favorite. Let's go back to the MSQ. Yshtilla says, we should not linger out here in the open. Cryo. Yshtilla's right. We need to cross before the Imperials spot us. Alphino says, at a glance, it certainly seems shallow enough. I don't think Alphino likes to swim. Ellie says, see, brother, nothing to worry about. Though no one could blame you for donning your buoyancy aids, just in case. You know, those little, blow-up arm things that keep you afloat. I don't see any soldiers. Good. Let's cross. You're wondering about the tower to the south. Well, not really, but okay. It's part of Castellum Velodina, and what the Imperials decided to call the old bridge after they fortified it. I call it a great big eyesore. Honestly, you can see that rotten banner from absolutely miles away. They never miss a chance to rub our noses in it, do they? Come on, we should keep moving. Remember that for future reference. Alright, we're not quite 11 levels above everything, but we're going to do that anyway. It would seem man is capable of using lots of styles when creating buildings. I had been expecting something similar to those found in the Churning Mists. Let us venture inside and see if found name cannot be found. Gav! Your help, if you please. A giant walking statue. I know not what it is we're dealing with, but I would be grateful if you could slay it. Okay. I'd been admiring the craftsmanship of man when it suddenly moved towards me, though I struggle to believe that is what the legends refer to as a slumbering worm. Eric, researching the slumbering worm, are we? It's always nice to see others take up an interest in history, even if it is entirely shallow. Wait, you know of the slumbering worm? We've journeyed here for the very purpose of meeting that dragon. You Dravanians could do with studying up on your history. The time when one could meet the worm is long since past. The High Priest Imart also known as the Slumbering Worm, departed this world over 300 years ago. The Slumbering Worm was a mere man? But of course, why would you think otherwise? Imart was a monk renowned for his mastery of meditation. Though, when necessary, he was quite capable of harnessing his worm-like strength to trounce his foes. Here in the Slumbering Worm alias after Babel, 100 men, Babel, however, Babel, fell asleep, Babel. Ornkai says, well, it seems we must begin our search anew. I worry I, too, may become a slumbering worm should I listen to this tiring man any longer. Let us pay a visit to Sir Albrecht instead. Anyone Ustien holds in such high regard can surely aid our hunt. Just trying to get his attention. It's like, bye. He's so dejected they stop listening. Nice. Let's follow Lise into Rauger's Reach so we can unlock that. We can go turn that in, because I don't think our next one is going to be until we get into the latter half of Stormblood. If I remember right. Alize says, are we there yet? That's so Alize. Effie so the reach lies beyond, but I do not see a path. Cryle says, and we didn't run afoul of even a single patrol. What a pleasant surprise, in that there were no surprises. Stola says, Lise did well. It is reassuring. We're here. On the other side of this pass is Rauger's Reach. Elfino says, so you say, but all I see are rocks. I presume there is some sort of trick to this? Y'shtola says, indeed, a glamour. Good eye, Y'shtola. Elfino says, I take it they have a talented mage in their ranks, or mayhap an artificer trained in the modification of glamour prisms. Something like that. The important thing is that it fools the Garleans. Oh, before we go in, I don't know if Tataru told you, but my friend Nago, the messenger who came to the Rising Stones, is a member of this faction. So they know us, and they shouldn't attack us on sight. That said, they can be a little bit jumpy, so let me lead the way. And, don't go reaching for your weapons or anything. With a sprinkle of demasking dust, all is laid bare. All clear, let's go, let's go. Vino says, seeing it now, I feel rather foolish for not having deduced it earlier. Yep, now we can see the way. Alize says, I suppose you could disguise almost anything with a glamour prism if you really wanted to. Have you ever used one? Why am I asking? Of course you haven't. Actually, of course he has. Let us pray that they are amenable to our proposal. United, we stand to accomplish so much more. Stola says, impressive or no, 20 years is a long time for even so complex a glamour to escape the Empire's notice. All right, let's go.
I remember the old stories. How the Breaker of Worlds came down from on high and cleft the earth with a single blow. Ralga's Reach, a holy place, and a fitting home for the Resistance, for the brave and the true, the loyal sons and daughters of Alamigo. They were waiting for us there, men and women whose souls still cried out for what was lost, for what could be ours again.
Kraus says, ordinarily I'd shudder at the thought of armed rebels trampling about in an ancient temple of immense historical importance, but Ralgar is the Breaker of Worlds, so it seems rather appropriate, if anything. Ishtola says, fascinating, a massive, nigh imperceptible glamour encompassing the entire valley. I see now how the settlement was able to escape the watchful eyes of Imperial airships. Lise says, it's good to see Nago up and moving again. I wasn't there when she headed home, so I naturally assumed she'd left too soon. Always overdoing it, that one. Nago, pleasure to see you again, and Kryl and Ishtola, without whose help I might not be standing here today. At least, not so soon. Ephrid, oh, so you really came. I never thought I'd see you here, but I'm glad. I'm glad. Afino says, this temple was once home to the Fist of Ralgar, as I recall. Yes, there is no mistaking that statue. That's true. That's a pretty big one. Alize, it's hard to feel at ease with that great statue looking down on you. Conrad, you'll forgive us our precautions, but we couldn't be sure who had crossed the barrier. We see you now for who you are, though, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Oh, I meant to change into Bard for that one. Okay. Conrad knows the purpose of your visit and would like to give you a proper welcome. Now, I know you would not have come all the way unless you had something important to discuss, and I'm eager to hear what it is you have to say. But let's not do this on our doorstep, eh? Come with me. Let's go unlock this etherite. A little Ethernet shard here that I'm going to unlock. There's only 2 in this area. That's for the... collectibles, that's it. I was looking for the mender and stuff, but that's on the other side. Oh, here's our chocobo keep. Keeping an eye out for a little calculator. She's been sick the past few days. Alright, this is all level 60 stuff. Randolph, moaning about our dearth of supplies isn't going to change anything. It's up to me to find some way of replenishing our stocks. People's lives may be at risk. Alright, we've attuned ourselves to all the Ethernet shards in Rogger's Reach. Fringe's Gate is now accessible as an Ethernet destination. Nice. I wonder if we could swim behind it. Ah, we can swim! I wonder if we can dive. Nope, not yet. Bedford says, when we first met back in the Shroud, I took you for just another adventure by Rauger. I still can't believe how far you've come. We plan operations here when we're not entertaining important guests like yourselves.
Allow me to welcome you once more to Rauger's Reach, our humble headquarters. My name is Conrad Kemp, and I have the dubious honor of overseeing operations here.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Kemp. I am Alphino Leveilleur, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as are my comrades. Before I speak of our purpose here, pray allow me to thank you for sheltering Ida, forgive me, Lys, and Papalymo at great risk to yourselves.
No, there's no need for that. They risked their necks for us enough times. 'Twas the least we could do.
I wanted to, I mean, about the mask and...
Ah, don't fret over that. You're not the first person to take up arms against the Empire under a false name. We'd do the same if we had any sense. My condolences for your loss, child.
Papalymo laid down his life to save us, to give us a chance to make a better future for ourselves. There will never be a better time to drive the Garleans from our lands. But we have to take the lead on this. We can't leave it to fanatics like Ilberd.
More than a few of our people were taken in by his promises. Followed him all the way to the wall. Good men and women who never came back. When Monargo told us what had happened, how the bastard had made sacrifices of them for his twisted ritual, by Rolger it filled me with an unholy fury. But what's done is done. Best we can do now is see that it wasn't all in vain.
That is why we are here today, sir, to see that some good comes of this tragedy. On behalf of the Eorzean Alliance, we do hereby extend a formal offer of military assistance to the Alamegan resistance.
Do you now? Well, go on then. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
Yeah, there always is.
So that's the way of it, eh? The Alliance, hoping to avoid a direct confrontation with the superior forces of the Empire, wishes to engage them by proxy with our vastly inferior ones. My comrades and I must confer on your proposal. A moment, if you please.
Of course, Master Kemp. Take all the time you require.
Papalymo and I weren't entirely honest with you. Though we were sheltered in Little Alamigo at first, spent most of our time here working with Conrad and his people. But you probably guessed that the moment I led you to the Reach, didn't you? So they would have us wait. Very well. I can't imagine that they would refuse, but if they did... It's not as though we have to stand around here indefinitely, do we? So, the Grenadians are finally willing to fight, eh? Monago. To be honest, I already knew I want us to work together, but we've still got to talk it over with everyone. My cat was knocking on my microphone stand there. We'll need to call the senior members together before we can make a decision. Alfino is pondering how best to make use of your leisure. So, it would seem we find ourselves with a surfeit of free time. Conrad says, forgive me. You are free to look around Rauger's Reach. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. It'll give you a better grasp of our current circumstances. Alfino says, thank you, Master Kemp. I believe we will do just that. Let us make the most of this opportunity and assess the resistance capability. Alize says, free to poke our noses wheresoever we will, eh? I like the sound of that. Lisa says, well, I already know this place inside out. I can show you around if you like, Gav. Great, let's get started. The cat is behind my desk. Hi, baby. I'll bet you think the Resistance is mostly made up of Valamigan Highlanders like me, but the truth is that we don't even account for half. We've got Hellsguard from all the way down by the spine in here, and plenty of Seekers of the Sun like Nago. There's even some Beastmen, well, Beastwomen, I suppose, like that one over there. She's an Ananta. They've been with us for a while now. Well, one of the smaller factions has. The rest won't have anything to do with us. We're no different than the Garleans to them. They keep to themselves, spending all their time crafting. Ananta make the most amazing jewelry, by the way. They use magics to twist metals and crystals into shapes you wouldn't believe. It's a pity people hardly ever get to see their work, but then most don't even know they exist. That's enough about them, anyway. Let's take a closer look at the statue of Rauger, shall we? So basically we're taking our tour of the city here. Pretty awe-inspiring, isn't it? The Breaker of Worlds, who guided our ancestors to these lands all those centuries ago. Ida used to tell me the story on stormy nights. She wanted me to understand, to remember. Quote, at the end of the 5th astral era, when the waters rose higher and higher, people all across Eorzea beseeched the heavens for a sign, and lo, a burning star appeared in the eastern sky and led the way to these mountains of Gyr Abania. Those who were saved by his grace pledged to honor and revere him, to devote themselves to great works without and within. A storm of blood approaches fast, hell is open, heavens weep, for no one soul doth lie beyond the measure of his reach. The last part was inscribed on the stone by a monk of the Fist of Rauger. Ida explained it to me. A day will come bringing strife and sorrow that none may escape. Waste not these precious hours, but in quiet preparation make strong the body and mind. I don't know if that storm of blood is finally upon us, but if it is, I have to believe that everything we've been through, everything that has led us to this point, will see us through in the end. Sorry, that was all a bit melodramatic, wasn't it? Let us keep moving, shall we? Off to the infirmary. That's what I want to see, a hospital. You could jump down, but then you'd have to swim, and it's actually faster to drive than swim. So these are the Ananta, or Nanta, I'm not sure how they pronounce it. Sneak people. Deafening glare. This is the infirmary, as you can probably tell. Here's where the resistance healers patch up the wounded and tend to the sick. No matter how carefully we planned our operations, casualties were inevitable. It's a sad thing to think about, but it's also important to remember the cost, as Conrad would say. We should go. I'll show you the Aetheryte Plaza next. Baronhard says, bastards got me in the shoulder. I've still the strength to stand on a battlefield, but I'm no good to anyone like this. Let's see what Kryl and Y'shtola say. I see they're already helping. We examined the patients and offered what assistance we could. However, for many of their injuries, time and bed rest are the only effective treatments. Y'shtola says, you too are come to inspect their facilities. As you can see, they have done well to set aside this much space, but their supplies are insufficient. Arella says, too many wounded, too little medicine, too much to worry about, so I don't. Instead, I pray every day for the fighting to end. Like, this is like a surgery suite here. I need to make an incision here and here. Archibald. I fear there may not be much I can do for this man. I can see what deafening glare has to say to me. This is the barber. You'll find countless injured soldiers here, either undergoing treatment or awaiting it. Tread softly should you go inside. Emmett, you wouldn't believe how many bandages we go through in a day. I pray we get more soon. Orwin, I've been told to destroy the Aetheryte should the Imperial Army find its way here. Though I truly hope it does not come to that. Me neither. He says, when you've seen one Aetheryte, you've seen them all, right? Not quite. This one's an older design, dating back decades to when the Fist of Raugur was still here. It may look a little different, but it works just as well as any other. I'll show you where the Sutlers are next, but don't forget to tune to the Aetheryte before. Got lots of vendors in here. Oh. Interesting. These turn into vendors and countertops after you finish the expansion. If you're looking for the tunnel to the peaks, it's right this way. I wonder if I can go out that way. Probably not. Nope. What does Alfino have to say? Hardly surprising. Where there is a war, there is profit to be had. Alize says, ah, excellent. They've no shortage of sutlers here. Should we have need of their services? Arms, armor, potions, you name it. These folks have got it. The resistance would be in a bad way without brave merchants to keep it provisioned. If you're short on anything or you need anything repaired, these are the people to speak to. Oh, Alfino and Alize are here. Why don't we see how they're getting on? Copper nickel turban of scouting. Striking, maiming. What's that look like? Okay, that looks weird. Looks like a Valkyrie helmet or some type. That looks weird. I am actually going to take the materia. He says, if you need to buy anything, now might be a good time. Cowboy hat. That's kind of cute looking. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Mask of healing. Some of these are a little weird. Okay. Come to take the measure of our friendly neighborhood merchants? They're a bold lot, that much is plain. If the Imperials found out they were peddling their wares to the Resistance, they would be lucky to escape with their lives. Alphino says, "'Tis a gamble, aye, and I admire their courage, but their motives could hardly be said to be altruistic." Minago says, "Ah, here you are. I've been looking all over for you. We've finished discussing your proposal and we're ready to receive you all back at the tent. I've sent someone to fetch you Stola and Kryl, so if you'd like to follow me." Sorry to have kept you waiting, but matters such as these demand due deliberation. Manago says, "We'll begin once the others arrive." Let's eat something.
Thank you all for waiting. We have reached a consensus. I, Conrad Kemp, do hereby accept the Eorzean Alliance's proposal. You must understand, however, that our cooperation comes with certain caveats.
Those caveats being...
I take no joy in this, just so you know. Were it within my power, I'd offer you more assistance. But the Resistance is far more fragmented than you realize. The men and women in my care belong to but one of many factions. Simply put, I can only speak for the people of Rolga's Reach. Now, I have every intention of appealing to the others, and I expect many will agree. But it will take time, and I cannot guarantee universal support.
Understood. I shall see that the Alliance is under no misapprehensions as to your position.
Much obliged. But that's not the whole of it. As you can imagine, the loss of those who cast their lot with the Griffin left us short on numbers. Some of our most trusted veterans died at the wall, and we've had to fill their posts with the young and inexperienced. Frankly, everything's in a right bloody mess.
Oh, we'd be more than happy to help you get back on your feet. If we're going to work together, we'll be doing ourselves a favor.
Well, there's no shortage of work to be done, that's for sure. We're in dire need of new blood, too.
Stola and I could lend a hand in the infirmary. From what I saw, they could do with a few more healers.
Very well. I, for my part, shall return to the Rising Stones. I'm certain there are others among the Scions who would welcome the opportunity to fight for Alamegan liberation.
Is there anything else we can do to help?
I had something else in mind for you lot. Monago and Mefred will tell you more.
Understood. We won't let you down.
Alright. Lise says, what a relief. For a moment there, I really wasn't sure which way I was going to go. Manago says, as if there was any doubt. Conrad says, now that we've dealt with formalities, we can get to work. I'm glad you're with us, friend. Alfred says, pinch me if I'm dreaming, because I'd swear it's finally beginning. The whole of Eorzea, committed at last to the liberation of Alamigo. Right then. Manago and Meffred are to be our keepers. Knowing not of what they require, one task is as good as the other. Make your choice, Gav. Your ether compass may now be used to locate ether currents in new regions. The ether compass can be found under collections in the duty section of the main. I had found a few. I guess it was working. After you, Gav. Alright. Leave you in my officer's capable hands, and them in yours. Let's see what these look like. That's not too bad. Before she tells you of her mission, Manago has a few things she would like to say. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you and the Scions again for patching me up after I bled all over your floor. I owe you my life, and I won't forget that. Furthermore, it was rude of me to run off without saying a word. It's all well and good of me claiming my duties here couldn't wait, but a parting thank you was the very least you deserved. My apologies. And thank you. Now to business. Commander Kempson entrusted me with a formal reply to be hand-delivered to the Alliance leadership. It covers everything we discussed, as well as detailing the disposition of our forces. What I need is an escort, 1 or 2 men at the most, and so we can make it to the wall swiftly and without attracting undue attention. Very well, I shall join you in this. Commander Aldine commands the forces... or General Aldine commands the forces at Castrum Oriens. It should be simple enough to see it into his hands. Great! That's just what I wanted to hear. When you're ready to depart, meet me at the pass leading out of the Reach. See what Meffred has to say. Meffred cannot help but wonder if you remember who he is. Yes. Yes, we do. Except he had, no clothes on at the time, hardly. At the risk of repeating myself, it's still hard for me to believe that we'd met here again, of all places. Though I reckon you probably don't remember me after all this time, eh? Of course I remember you. I'm impressed. Given everything you went on to accomplish, you'd be forgiven for forgetting all about your time in Quarry Mill. Suffice it to say, we didn't forget about you either, nor the lives you saved. As for me, I went to Little Alamigo while Galleon was recovering. Gundobald was my former commander and old friend, and I had a lot on my mind. In the end, I decided to disband our unit. I told the men to live their lives as they saw fit. Some chose to remain in Little Alamigo, and others went to Ul'dah for work. But as you can see, I chose to come back to Gyr Abania and join Conrad and the others. I've kept busy since then, ferrying people and provisions up across the border and back. It's not been easy, but it's been fulfilling. Today, however, we'll be heading east into the peaks. Conrad thinks we might have better luck finding new recruits in the village of Alagana. Alagana? If you're going there, you're taking me with you. Oh, that's right. You're from Alagana, aren't you, Lise? By all means, we'd welcome the company. There'll be more to it than just asking around, but we can talk about it on the way. Make your preparations and meet me by the tunnel to the peaks. Ida and I were born in Alagana, though I can't say I remember much about it. This tunnel will take us all the way to the peaks. We're on a mission for Conrad to Alagana. Clear the barricade, if you would. Aye, sir. Shouldn't take more than a moment. There are more villages there than out here, but also more Imperials keeping a close eye on things. We'll need to tread carefully. Journey to the peaks. Way's clear after you, Gav. Okay.
I remember the peaks of Gyr Abania, silent watchmen that would stand long after we were gone. We came seeking allies to join us in the fight against the Empire. People who had had enough. People who had suffered every possible indignity. Who had been treated like animals, day after day after day.
It's pretty cool. This wasn't the work of the Garleans, but of Theodoric. His army massacred the monks here decades ago. By the time the Black Wolf arrived with his legion, it was already ruined. Effort says, we have a glamour in place here too, as you may have noticed. As far as the Imperials are concerned, this is not more than a testament to the savage impulses of a lesser race. Remember though, once we leave these ruins, we'll have no glamours to conceal us. The villages to the east keep watch for patrols as we move. Gods, look at that tower to the southeast. How long did it take them to build it? I can't quite see it because of the fog. Nary an Imperial in sight. That's a mercy. What did he say? Alagan is due east past that bridge. Follow me, it's not much further. I couldn't have been older than 5 when we left this place. My memories are hazy at best. You can rest easy, we made it. This is Alagana. He says, it feels strange coming home like this. I always imagined it would be... Oh, sorry. That has nothing to do with why we're here. We need recruits. Effort says, aye, we do, but as I said back at the Reach, it's a little more complicated than just asking for volunteers these days. As you know, we're short-handed because many of our people were taken in by the Griffin's promises and went to the Wall, never to return. It wasn't just them, though. Folks from all over, including some of my former comrades, answered his call to arms. As for why we came to this particular village, it's rumored that Alagana lost a few youths as well. If there's truth to that, then there could be others sympathetic to the cause. Then again, after the Griffin's betrayal, they might be suspicious of outsiders claiming allegiance to the Resistance, and rightfully so. Lee says, so, with all that in mind, how are we supposed to convince them to join? I mean, I knew it wouldn't be as simple as giving a speech in the village. Not if you didn't want the place to be burned to the ground, no. You might as well piss in the Viceroy's eye. We'll need to be a good deal more circumspect than that. You never know when an Imperial spy is listening. We must speak with the Elder first. I know for a fact he can be trusted. We'll listen to what he has to say and decide what to do after. Lisa, sounds like a plan. Let's hope there are still some brave men and women here willing to fight. couldn't have been older than 5 when we left this place. My memories are hazy at best. Alright, Mefrid. Would like to introduce you to the village elder. Sandals of scouting. Gagana skin legs of maiming. Ragnfrid, the village elder, is over by the shore. No time like the present. Let's have a word. Talk to the Chocobo Keep first. Well met, traveler. Might I interest you in a Chocobo Porter? Do not tell me this is your first visit to the stop. I shall update my register with your name so that you may access this location in the future. I know we're going to be coming back here a fair bit. Don't know you, traveler. You a merchant? You'll not find much custom here. Mefford says, greetings, well met, elder, and sincerest apologies that I did not send word ahead of our arrival. Too long have I been away from Alagana, and I would know of your recent troubles. Ragnfrid says, ah, you are comrades of Mefford, I see. Speak on, though I suspect I know your purpose. Mefford says, the griffin came with many men, and I left with many more. Such is the rumor. Is it true? Ragnfrid says, he lit a fire in their hearts, and then dangled a dream before their tired eyes. And now you come to steal away what few remain. The Griffin was a traitor and a madman. We had no part in his schemes. We have made an agreement with the Alliance. This time it will be different. Ragnfrid says, this time? This time? Cold comfort to the dead and the ones they left behind. How much more must we give before you've had your fill? Mefford, but sure do you hate the Empire as much as we do? Ragnfrid says, they took our lands, our traditions, even our god, and they demand a fifth of what little we've got left. I hate the bastards with every fiber of my being. But hate's not enough, Mefford. We can't keep doing this. I'll not tell anyone who you came, but you need to go. Now, leave us be and never return. Lise says, you've got no right to speak to us like that. Ragnfrid says, I've got a quarry that was producing barely enough to keep us fed, and that was before half our young men and women went off to die for your bloody cause. So yes, I've got every right to tell you to leave my village. No, you don't, because it's my village too, my home. What the hell's are you on about? Wait, I know those eyes. You're one of Curtis's girls. Lise Hext. And I'm here. I'm here to take back my homeland. Ragnfrid says, by Raugr, the last time I saw you, you were... I don't even know if you were... I didn't even know if you were still alive. And I never thought you would come. I almost didn't, and my sister never will. Lots of others won't either, and that's why we've got to carry on the fight. Ragnfrid says, you even sound like him. As you say, I've got no right to tell you to leave. Alagana is as much your home as it is mine. But I say to you again, we can give no more. He says, yes, I heard you the first time. Let's go. Do what you will and say what you like. You'll find no recruits here. Oh, we didn't come here to fight. I hope I haven't made a mess of things. That could have been handled better, but what's done is done. At least we've been granted permission to stay. I was hoping Ragnfrid might help us recruit some of his people, but that clearly isn't going to happen. If we're to convince any of them to join, we'll first need to regain their trust. It's risky, and it's hardly subtle, but I say we approach the villagers directly. See what problems they've got, and if we can do anything to help. Makes sense to me. Let's split up and ask around. Okay, I want to speak with Minago. I'm going to go kind of cycle back to there. Ah, Ogre Lionheart. That's something for us. That there's a sightseeing log, unless I'm mistaken. Do you perchance know a woman named Milith? Why, yes, I do. Ha! What are the odds? Milith is my niece, lest you wonder. She's told me much and more about you in her letters. Ah, but where are my manners? Olga Ironheart, at your service. I'm an explorer like most of the clan, and my niece bade me share with you such knowledge I have accumulated. Here, lend me your log. Let's see now. Definitely there, and there, and there, and there. Yes, that ought to suffice. Explanations have taken me far and wide, but dearest to my heart are the regions of Alamigo, beauteous in their ruggedness, and the lands of the Far East, glorious in their diversity. There are many wondrous sights to be seen in these places, and I've written down the directions to them. Some will prove more difficult to reach than others, but if you're even half as resourceful as Milith says you are, I'm confident that you'll be able to find them all. And with that, I shall leave you to resume your adventures. Go forth, my friend, and take in such breathtaking vistas as even my father, the great Rodard Ironheart, could not see in his lifetime. Stormblood entries have been added to your sightseeing log. You must be level 60 or other to record them. Travel to the location indicated, fulfill the necessary conditions, and you will complete the entry for that vista, earning experience points in the process. Use your wits and the notes provided by Ogre to identify these stunning sights and the proper way to appreciate them, and see Alamigo and the Far East as only the greatest explorers have seen them. I wonder if he's looking up at one. Probably looking at Robber's statue there. Alice says, let us defer to Minago with regards to the route. While we could just as easily head back the way we came, there could be any number of reasons why we should not. Got everything you need? Good. Then let us be off. I think this unlocks another Ethernet or Etherite for us. They says, why have we stopped? Is aught amiss? Quiet. Hear that? That was a ceruleum engine backfiring. Imperials. Alice says, ye gods, you have preternatural senses. I didn't hear a thing. Minago says, when you grow up hunting in these lands, you learn to discern the sounds that could mean life and death, be they of predator or patrol. From what I'm hearing, we have a 7-man patrol augmented with a single Magitech armor, wide search pattern, divided into 2. No 3 teams. I don't think they know we're here. It's risky, but we should split up and try to take them all by surprise at the same time. We don't want them calling reinforcements. 3 teams, 3 of us. Nothing for it then. Where are they? Head north. You should see them long before they see you. I'll deal with the ones to the south. The armor should be just to the west. Gav's best equipped to deal with that. We attack in 5. That should be enough time to get into position. Rendezvous on the west bank after. Any questions? No? Then good luck. I'm pleased to report that the Empire is short 3 soldiers. Not that any self-respecting legatus would be sorry to lose them. Alright, let's switch over to Dragoon again. It looks like everything went to plan. Not that I'm surprised. The 3 soldiers I faced didn't put up much of a fight. Most of the Imperials we get out here are conscripts from other provinces with little training and even less conviction. It's grim work, killing men and women like that, but don't doubt that they'd do the same to you if the roles were reversed. And don't you dare pity a man in armor. Conscript or no, a soldier piloting one of those can kill a dozen good men in the blink of an eye. Not that I need to tell you that after what happened at the wall. Trying to decide which armor to take there. Oh, let's see what these look like. These are made more for girls. Not that one looks better, but much better, but it's better. Okay. Right, I've noticed we've rested long enough and we should resume our journey before someone else notices their missing patrol. More soldiers? I didn't think they'd come this far west, but better to be safe than sorry. We're clear. Only Alliance patrols ahead. You said the forces at Castor Morians were under the command of Flame General Rauban Aldine, did you not? By Rauger, the bull of Alamigo himself? I never dreamed I'd have a chance to meet the legend. There's Pippin. I returned from a survey of the wall just a moment ago. We have yet to recover Papalymo's personal effects, I'm sorry to say. But you may rest assured that we will notify you and yours the moment we do.
It is good to see you again, my friends. I hope you are here to tell me you have made contact with the Resistance.
We are, General. Allow me to introduce Monago of Rolga's Reach.
At your service, sir. And may I say what an absolute honor it is to stand before the Bull of Alamigo.
These are not the Blood Sands, girl. You and I are but soldiers on a battlefield fighting for the same cause.
As you say, General. On behalf of Commander Kemp of the Alamigan Resistance, I present to you our formal response.
Good. I'm glad we've reached an accord. Though I was not aware you had suffered such losses.
Aye. Some of our finest took part in the Griffin's doomed assault, and we've been struggling to find new recruits ever since. The massacres cast a pall over the whole Resistance, and many who might once have been open to joining us have since thought better of it.
After all of the Griffin's false promises, one can hardly blame them. They have no desire to give their lives for a lost cause.
We will not lie to them. This is war, and lives will be lost. Yet what we offer is not the fever dream of a madman, but true hope.
The people need proof of this, Father. Let us show it to them. I say we stand shoulder to shoulder with our new allies and engage the Garleans in open warfare. The Resistance must demonstrate that they can hold their own against Imperial regulars. And with our assistance, I am confident they can do just that. If we can achieve even a token victory, I believe it will serve to rekindle the hope of the Alamegan people and inspire them to rise up once more.
Aye. Once word spread that we'd won a battle against the Garleans, I'd wager we'd have new recruits flocking to us from malms around. The question is, when and where do we strike?
I'm glad you asked. I have a plan.
That's an evil little grin. Our scouts recently informed me of an interesting development at Castellum Velodina, namely the arrival of a shipment rumored to have come from the research and development facilities near the capital, containing prototype Magitech armor. It is our assessment that this armor is to be field tested here, most likely against Alliance forces, mayhap before the day is out. And Nago says, "Damn it all, more Magitech weapons? That's the last thing we need." Gideon says, "Your concern is not unwarranted, but we needn't despair just yet. The shipment is thought to have contained a single heavy unit and 1 or 2 support units. With a well-laid ambush, we are confident we can destroy them all, hindering their development and delaying future deployment." Raban says, "Should we carry this out as a joint endeavor with the Resistance, they will have their rallying cry." Minago says, "It would mean dropping all pretense about the Alliance not wanting to go to war with the Empire. But you'd have a lot more folk willing to stand up and fight if they knew they weren't alone, and you were going to have to do it eventually anyway." Gibbon says, "Exactly. And so what I propose is simple. We harry their patrols to bait them into bringing their prototype weapons to East End, where our Resistance allies will take them from behind." Raban says, "Simple enough, and well within our capabilities. I see no reason to delay, especially if a field test is imminent. What say you?" Minago says, "Assuming the Vice Marshal's intelligence is accurate, I agree with this assessment and fully support his plan. I shall notify my comrades at once." Gideon says, "Understood. I shall have one of my men bring you the details of the plan anon." Ellie says, "And we, for our part, will be fighting with the Alliance, yes? I somehow doubt you were intending to sit this one out." Yeah. Nope, not intending to sit that out. Definitely not. Alize. Prototype Magitech armor, eh? This may prove a challenge. Pippin. Fate has a way of leading one into the most unexpected alliances, does it not? I still touch it. Yeah, that's an ugly sword. Alright. That's ugly too. Alright. We've been careful to avoid needless shows of force this side of the wall, but that's all about to change. And when it does, you may be sure they'll send their new toys out to entertain us. I would ask you to participate in this operation, but from that look, I see it as a foregone conclusion. Why, thanks. Per Pippin's plan, we need to turn East End into an Imperial graveyard. You're a dab hand at this, and I'd be a fool not to use you. Head to this spot on your map. Right here, a patrol should be along shortly. Deal with them, then rendezvous with the rest of us at this location. Go well, Gav. Final words for us? You know what to do. Be messy, be loud, and rejoin us when you've finished. Okay. We will have Flames and Adders with us for this operation. The Maelstrom and the Temple Knights will wait in reserve at the castrum. Let's see, we've got some blue quests. Captain Loskers, or Luskers, has lost something very important. Lieutenant Tia, just the man I wanted to see. We've misplaced a number of Garlean drones taken from Belsar's wall. And by misplaced, I mean the damn things sprang to life and stormed out of the base. They need to be dealt with before any civilians come to harm. Being familiar with Magitech as you are, I can think of no one better to assist us. If you would be willing to help, go and speak with Lieutenant Gnimfa. Okay, that's quite a word to say. She's overseeing the initiatives to terminate the drones. Gnimfa. I don't know. Lieutenant Tia, your assistance is greatly appreciated. The drones were not in our possession for very long, but a cursory inspection showed they are made with a heretofore unknown metal alloy. They are all but impervious to traditional firearms, which is why we commissioned Garland Ironworks to fashion a weapon capable of penetrating their armor. It has since been fitted to a suit of Magitech armor, which I would ask you to pilot. If I'm not mistaken, this would not be the first time you've piloted one of these suits. It should take you no time then to familiarize yourself with the controls. Now, the drones were last sighted due east of here and to the north along the Volodna River. I fear recapturing them is out of the question, so do whatever you deem necessary to stop them. Oh. Okay. Let's tackle that one another time. Alright. Mama Cat Gamer has to go make dinner for the rest of the cat family here, so I am going to leave it here for now. So we've made it into Gyr Abania, and we'll be looking forward to making more progress. We made some great progress with Oh, actually, let's go turn this in real quick before I go. Because I want to complete this and get the XP for it. Maybe start the next series here. We have Mostaccioli on the dinner plan tonight. And it's super easy to make. So Mama Cat Gamer is going to give you a recipe. Okay, take 1 pound of pasta. Whatever kind you prefer, right? Whole wheat gives you a little more fiber, which is great. Boil that up to al dente. It's better to be a little underdone than to be overdone because you're going to bake it, right? Then take, if you want meat sauce, take about a pound of ground beef. Saute that up with a chopped up onion, chopped sweet pepper of whatever kind you prefer, if you want. About a teaspoon of salt, a little ground pepper to taste. I add plenty of garlic to that. Saute that all together. When it's brown, you add in a jar or two of sauce, depending on how big the jar is. It's a big jar. You only need 1, if that much. If you like it real saucy, do 2 jars. Anyway, mix that all together, and then add in the pasta that's already cooked, and then you put it into a 9x13 pan. Spray it with some cooking spray first, and then you top it with shredded mozzarella cheese, right? As much as you like. Cover it, put it in the oven at 350 for about 30-35 minutes. Till it's kind of bubbly, and then remove the cover, tinfoil or whatever you're using, and let that bake so the cheese can brown up a little bit more on top. Bake that for another 10 minutes, and then you bring it out, and then you eat it, and it's really good. Super easy to make. When my kids were younger and we were both working full-time, hubby was working an hour away from home, I would make like 2 of those up at one time because it's super easy to do 2 at one time. And then I would put one in the freezer. Hey, Orn Kai is here. I am relieved we are not alone in failing to consider the possibility of non-Dravanian slumbering worm. Hey, Good evening, Gav. Our friend here has informed me as to the truth behind the legend. My apologies for not looking deeper into the story before bringing it to your attention. Your next destination lies in the Far East. Tell me, Gav, have you ever set foot in the region before? Nope. Truly? You've never made the journey? You're so well-traveled, I assume that you must have visited the city. Well, you shall need to head there if you wish to continue your search. Regrettably, I should not think Orn Kai will be able to accompany you this time. Orn Kai says, but how do you expect to find Faunem without a dragon in tow? Albrecht says, your plight is well understood, Orn Kai. It is truly a shame your wings do not match your ambition. Though, mayhap I have not fully considered all options available to us. We do owe you a great debt for all you have done for Ustien. Allow me some time, and I shall see to it that you are able to follow Gav to the Far East. You have my thanks, Sir Albrecht. Oh, I wish I could set off this very moment. Perhaps a spot of hunting should be enough to calm me down. Pray, call me when preparations are complete. Albrecht says, at the very least, we now know that Ustien will not have wanted for company since leaving Ishgard. Sadly, I may struggle to secure passage to the east in quite as timely a manner as he would like. Pray, keep your lance at arm honed. There is no knowing just what you shall face in Othard. In order to undertake this quest, you must first complete the main scenario quest, Tide Goes In, Imperials Go Out. Okay. So we can't pick that one up. So we're going to leave it here for today. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. I gotta go make dinner for the family, and we shall come back to the game and our continuing saga as we go along. So you'll have a great one, cats and kittens. Mama Cat's gonna give you your joke. Here's our cat joke. What's a cat's favorite comedy show? Catterday Night Live. Yeah. Catterday Night Live. Okay. On that terrible cat joke note, Mama Cat Gamer is signing off for today. You all have a great one, cats and kittens. See you soon.